Hello everyone, and welcome to the French Grand Prix. I'm House101, thank you very much for watching, and welcome to episode 14 of our MotoGP 13 career mode Let's Play, and we are now in sunny France, here at the Le Mans Bugatti circuit for the French Grand Prix. Now, in case you're wondering, I qualified in 13th place for this one. Again, this is realistic difficulty. You may have noticed on the timing screen something was a little bit off, and I'll get to that in just a second once I'm actually up to speed and racing, because something about this mode is really starting to tick me off at this difficulty. You'll see what I mean once I actually get started. So as I said, I'm starting from 13th. It's going to be 7 laps around Le Mans. Should be interesting. And we're off. Again, I upped the rewind count to 5 just because of more AI bullshit like that. Like Zarco just coming across me there and almost taking me off the bike already. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, this could be a minefield coming into here. Whoa. Agata from the lead went off. Bit of a traffic jam going through there. So we're up to 8th. I actually really like them on as a track though. This version of it is actually really nice. Oh, whoa! Went into the back of went into the back of Julian Simon there, I think. It's got the other way. There we go. We're up to 7th. But something I noticed about qualifying, which I didn't like at all, and what it was that they bunched the field up way too close at the top. It's unrealistic. I'm a big Moto2 fan, and I know the field is probably the most competitive in all in motorcycle racing. I know it's a really, really close field. But it's not close to the point where, like you saw there, where the top 6 was covered by like 600ths of a second. That just doesn't happen. And it's nonsense. I don't like it that keeps happening. So I almost get taken out by Corsi there. But I said it's just not realistic. Like, what it's basically saying is if you don't qualify on pole, you're probably going to end up starting from 8th, which gives the AI like a ridiculous advantage. It's a bit unfair. Don't get me wrong. I know Moto2 is close. It's not that close, as Corsi bumps me, the little bastard. It's they need to get that patched, because I don't think they're going to patch it, but I think qualifying needs to be a little bit more spread out to give you a more fair representation of where you are on the grid. Ooh. Better on the brakes here. Thomas Luthi, my teammates there. Oh, and now Reddin's gone down, the championship leader, from 3rd. And they've got a better run than Luthi going over the hill, which is nice. He gets us back. We cut back inside. Oh, bit too much on the power there. But we still keep our 6th place. Yeah, got to try and get ahead out. And Julian Simon's next is one of the top. One's on the top end bikes, the Alexis. There's a Corsi's now to 7th, passing Thomas Luthi. Oh, Corsi. See, that's the thing. These bikes can just come out of nowhere sometimes. They have no awareness of where you are on the track in relation to them. That's another problem with the game's AI. It's not quite there. It's almost too aggressive, where it's like the AI says, I have this line, unless I'm trying to pass you, I will not deviate, even if there happens to be a bike in the way. It'll take that line no matter what, and more often than not, you'll get caught up in an accident and will have no idea why, and it won't be your fault. It's probably happened to me earlier in this series. You've probably seen it. Again, there's another issue with this game, but you know, all this stuff, it's pretty minor, to be honest. So now up to 6th place and catching up now to Julian Simon a little bit here. Would like a top 5, that would be nice. Oh, inside the curb a little bit there. Wow, nobody's crashed this time through here. Next up's Tito Rabat, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I'm guessing you guys want me to talk about Phillip Island a little bit, and let's be real here, Phillip Island was a bit of a farce. It was MotoGP's Indio 5 moment. Now, in case you don't know what I'm referencing there, Formula 1 fans, if you're not a Formula 1 fan. What happened in Indianapolis 05 was that basically the Michelin tyres, which was about 16 of the 22 cars on the grid, was on the Michelin tyre. Because back at the time in Formula 1 there was a tyre war between them and Bridgestone. Only 6 cars on the field were running on Bridgestones, and that was the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Jordans, and the 2 Minardis. What had happened, basically... Oh, Simon! Oh, for God's sake. Gotta use a rewind here. Knock me off the road. And he can't cut that corner either, which is kind of irritating. Now I have to brake early and let someone back through. Or have I? Someone's gone a bit wide there. Oh God, it makes my bike all vibrate. But yeah, I said basically, they're in the middle of a tyre war, and during Indianapolis, I think it was in practice, I think it was Ralf Schumacher had this enormous crash around the last corner of Indianapolis. Now, for those who don't know Indianapolis, the last corner, when you go around it the proper way, is like an oval. It's like something you see in IndyCar or NASCAR or whatever. It's basically an oval bend. And it's not a good look. Oh, a bit wide there, but we're okay. But yeah, so it's basically an oval bend. And Ralf Schumacher crashed on the last corner at about 170 miles an hour. And it kept happening, these tyre failures kept happening over the course of practice and qualifying. Michelin had worked out that their tyres basically were only good to last about 10 to 15 laps due to safety issues. Now, this put all the Michelin runners into a bit of a pickle. Because they could, they wouldn't be competitive by having to pit, 6 or 7 times over the course of the race. Because Indianapolis, I believe, was a 70-lap race back in the day, which isn't good. So, like I said, if they did run, 1, it'll be a health and safety risk of massive proportions, and 2, they'd be pitting 6 or 7 times. It just wouldn't be competitive. So, as a result, Bernie had a meeting with all the teams. The Michelin tyre runners wanted the race scrapped. It didn't happen. Bernie says, you're on the grid, you're racing. And basically all the Michelin runners had to retire on the formation lap, go into the pits, refuse to race. And the Indianapolis Grand Prix of 2005 was competed with 6 cars. Michael Schumacher would go on to win ahead of Rubens Barrichello, and I think it was Christian Monteiro, the Portugueseman, who had his one and only F1 podium, I think, there. Minardi scored points. I know, it's a miracle, isn't it? Whoops, cut the corner there, my bad. Sorry, folks. Let's be real, I'm faster than these two anyway. Pick around the outside of Nakagami here, not quite happening. But yeah, MotoGP here in Phillip Island had a similar problem. Bridgestone, the official tyre suppliers for the sport, basically worked out because of the track being relayed recently. They worked out that the tyres they were running would not be safe for competition, as Rabat goes really wide there. As I said, basically what happened was that they worked out that the tyres were not good for anything more than maybe 14 laps. So on qualifying day, they announced that the race was going to be cut down to 26 laps. And that the race would have to have a mandatory pit stop. Basically, having to change bikes in the middle of the race for a new bike with fresh tyres on it. You weren't allowed to do more than 14 laps on a single stint for safety reasons, because like I said, beyond that, Bridgestone couldn't guarantee the safety of their tyres. Controversial, huh? And it was one of those incidents that was really game-changing, was in Moto 2, where Scott Redding had a big crash, fractured his wrist, broke his wrist, I think, in the crash, and is now, obviously, couldn't race in Phillip Island, and is now out at, probably going to be out of Motegi this weekend as well, meaning that his championship challenge is probably over. Paul Espargaro is probably going to win this year's Moto2 title now, and his challenge has been, and Redding's challenge has pretty much been ruined by this, which is just awful news because, you know, you could argue it was the relaying of the track and the unknown conditions is what probably cost Redding a true title challenge. He says he's aiming to be back for Valencia, but the title could already be over by then, realistically. Nakagami and Rabat, whoa! But just ploughed into me there, man. See what I mean? The AI in this game is ridiculous. But, yeah, darn shame that, to be honest. Oh, I got bumped by Redding. Oh, Redding's gone off again. What a shame. Hope his wrist's okay. But in all seriousness, after qualifying, they actually had to take a look at it again and realise, wait, we can't even do 14 laps. So the race was cut down to 19 laps, and that you couldn't run more than 10 laps on a single stint. Which made things even more crazy. And you could run more than 10 laps on a stint, regardless whether it was wet or dry. And as a result, whoa! Big crash, me and Simon. Not gonna lie, if that was real, I'd be a dead man right about now, that speed. Crazy. I shouldn't even really joke about that, because today is 2 years to the day since Marco Simoncelli passed away. I've already spoken about him before in previous videos. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Come on, Dre, concentrate. It's hard to talk like this seriously and then commentate at the same time. It's tricky, I must admit, but I'm gonna try and make it work. Oh, Simon with a little bump, but we're okay. You're up to fourth. Fourth would be a nice result, actually. But yeah, Jorge Lorenzo winning in Phillip Island didn't really surprise me. He always looked like he was the fastest guy around the track that weekend. But the big news, Marc Marquez got a disqualification for breaking that 10-lap rule. You know, he was meant to only do 10 laps on a stint of tyres. He did 11, and as a result, they black flagged him. I think that's really, really harsh, to be honest, on a race that had the rules changed effectively at the 11th hour. And, you know, Marquez was only following orders. It was the team's error. I think a more fitting punishment would have been taking all the team's constructors' points away. I think would have made more sense than just straight up punishing Marquez, even though it wasn't really his fault. Whoops, there goes Simon. So yeah, that whole thing's just kind of unfortunate, really. Marquez getting punished for something that it wasn't really his fault. I know we probably knew the rules, but would you really be counting the laps in your head? I think I'll be more trying to focus on trying to beat Lorenzo more than anything else. Which is a shame, but on the final lap we're going to come through, and we're going to come in fourth. Which is actually a very good result there. Could have had third if it wasn't for the tangle with Nakagami, which is kind of a shame. I'll talk a little bit more about the title in the second. Actually, I'll keep talking now as it goes.
While the podium finishers make their way to Parc Fermé, let's have a look.
But yeah, I mean, because of that now, the championship's kind of been flung back on its head again. In essence, because now Lorenzo's only got 18 points. You know, he's only 18 points behind Marquez now, and that's huge. Oh, we've knocked out the Barbara. Nice. It's a darn shame. I'm not gonna lie. It's inadvertently made the championship a little bit more interesting towards the end, even though Marquez has probably already deserved it by now. Now he's got to really work for it, and now Motegi, instead of becoming Repsol Honda's celebration party, even though it might still be, depending on how it turns out. But the looks of it now, it's looking like it's going to be a lot more interesting. Basically, Marquez needs 7 more points than Lorenzo during the weekend at Motegi to win the championship, which is going to, you know, it's doable. I mean, the thing is though, Danny Pedrosa's not going to lay down for him. For obvious reasons, because Pedrosa mathematically can still win it. I think he's 36 points behind with 50 available. So technically speaking, Pedrosa can go out there and win it too, which is going to be interesting. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next part, which will start right about now. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. Yeah, bad news folks, I'm kind of qualifying from 18th in this one. I'm honestly thinking just scrapping qualifying altogether because it's just not my thing, and just start from the back anyway, like I normally do, just make the races longer. I don't know, it's one of those things where I'm just not digging qualifying because these guys are stupidly fast in quali. I can't even tell you how fast these guys are going, it's ridiculous. And like I said, if I was on a top bike, I'd be crushing it around here. But the difference between even this Suter and the top-end Alexis are ridiculous. So, 6 laps of Mugello. One of my favourite tracks on the calendar. Let's see what we can manage. I'm going to slug her off the line here as well because my bike's got a very high gear ratio here. But I set it up so the gears themselves are quite low so that hopefully my bike can explode out of the corners a little bit better. Well, that's the hope anyway. The theory's good, but in practice, not so sure. Also, who saw the Moto3 race from Phillip Island? Whew! Alex Rins, man, is good. Like, I know Louis Salom's probably going to end up winning the championship. For the Red Bull KTM team, which is really, really good. But Alex Rins, I think, pound for pound, is a really, really good rider. I think Rins is going to get a... The thing is, I need a question. I haven't seen it anywhere. Does anybody know if Alex Rins is getting promoted to Moto2 next year? Has a Moto2 team snapped him up? Because I know Maverick Vinales and Louis Salom's taking the pond seats next year. So they're both moving up. I know that Jonas, it was announced during the Phillip Island weekend that Jonas Volger's moving up. I can't remember the team name, but they're the ones that are in red. I think it's Jordi Torres' team in Moto2 that Volger's going up as well. I just haven't heard anything from Alex Rins yet. Rins should get a top-end seat in Moto2 next year. Seriously, he is good. Whoops, got that corner a little bit there. Sorry about that, folks. But if you're a human player, you can take a huge advantage if you take that corner right. The AI is so conservative around that corner, it's not even funny. As my phone's going off in the background like a nutter. But I'm up to 9th, hooray! My target was 8th, I've got to beat Julian Simon. That was my new objective, which could be a bit of a stretch, but hey, can't hurt to try, right? And yeah, these Ponds bikes and you know the Calexes are just so much faster in a straight line. I mean, I was hitting 286 and that is literally all this bike has got left to give. I know that for a fact the Ponds bikes can do 295, nearly 300 kilometers an hour. That's 185 mph in old money. Very, very fast indeed. Also, I want to say get well soon to Scott Redding. I know I'm not his biggest fan in the world, but it would be huge for British motorsport if we could get a motorcycle world champion, you know, in the premier division of motorcycle racing in the sport. I know we've had it before in World Superbikes, but World Superbikes just isn't taken as seriously as MotoGP is. And you know, just seeing a British champion would be an amazing sight. It just looks like we're not quite ready to go yet. I hope Scott can come back for Motegi, but it's not looking likely. I'm hearing that he's targeting Valencia according to his Twitter page, and it might be too late by then. It will probably take a miracle result and probably a crash from Espargaro to really limit the damage from here on in, which is such a darn shame. Oh yeah, took that corner perfectly. Look at that. Goodbye, Agatha. Okay, maybe not. Because since I now have 300,000 fans, I've hit the talent level when it comes to fan support. So now I can challenge the top 4 teams now when it comes to bike speed and pace and whatnot. See, I'm slipstreaming Agatha, and I just... I got to hit, okay, I hit 289 that time with a slipstream. But that's literally it. 289 is just over 180 miles an hour, I believe. Oh, what's else that I want to talk about? Oh, I'm hearing Nicky Hayden is going to Aspar next year, which is a good move for Nicky. I'm just glad he's out with Ducati, because Ducati is the bike wrecker. It's become... It's like that abusive boyfriend of MotoGP. And like the riders that join them, they're the helpless victims. Like, it's like the boyfriend's a douchebag, but you stick with it because you think you might be the one to change its fortunes. Like, I could put my footprint on this guy, I can change him for the better, and I love him. But the Ducati just keeps beating them until they eventually go to jail and find a new rider. I know it's a really bad analogy, but it's the best I've got right now. Driving a bike at 150 miles an hour. It's the best I've got. But let's be real here for a minute. You know, right now, the sad truth is that the Ducati bike is not rideable to its full potential. And like I said in previous episodes, it just goes to show you just how... Whoa! Agata crashing. Oh, Simon! Me and Julian Simon are going to war recently. Good lord. Hang on, I'm going to go all the way back here because I'm going to be fair. See, that was legal. There you go, right outside of Simon, now coming up towards Nakagami. Oh, of course Simon gets in the way. Of course he does. Oh, for God's sake! Jesus. Even on standard physics, this game will screw you over. Got a good drive out of that corner though. Problem is that I'm going to run out of juice by the time I get to the end of this massive straight. See, there goes. Simon's already coming at me now. Go on, give me a push, Simon. You know you want to. Good man. Push! Got to run Simon onto the grass a little bit here. I was really wimpy on the brakes there as Espargaro comes back round the inside of me. And Agata's come through as well. I don't know how Agata had that really weird animation where you just seem to lean off the edge of the bike, but you're still able... Oh, 2 in 1! Nearly. Yeah, there is animation, but yet he can still keep going. And what the frig, Agata? Sorry about cutting the corner there. It's just I didn't have a choice. Oh my god. Welcome to bumper bikes. This is ridiculous, man. Alright, Agata, you can have your place back. Jeez. Couldn't quite get there. I braked a little bit too late on that one. But yeah, Nicky Hayden going to Aspar is a good move for him, and I'm hearing they're running Honda power next year rather than Aprilia, which is really good news, because Honda are so much faster in terms of engine power. Because you know where the CRTs were losing out, most definitely was in a straight line. They were giving up maybe 10 miles an hour on the straights, just because the Aprilia engines they were using were just not as powerful. And when I say not as powerful, I mean nowhere near. Like, so they were giving up 10, 12 mile an hour down the straights. It's like a Formula 1 car, and another Formula 1 car got DRS open. Take that, Agata. Okay, Agata, you want revenge then, clearly, don't you? I can come out of these corners better, but I just got no power coming out of the straights. These Supers just aren't as fast. And Agata's is going to come back at me on his Suter, which is a better Suter than mine, which is kind of a shame. I need 4th to beat the objective and beat Simon. That's as late as I dare. Gotta cover the line. And it worked. But yeah, I mean... CLT is going to be a stronger team next year. The Aspar team is going to be much stronger next year, especially with Hayden on it. Even though I'm hearing Espargaro's not going to stick around, I'm hearing that Aspar are going to clear the decks completely. I hope it means Espargaro gets a better ride, even though I'm hearing he's going to the NGM team with Colin Edwards, which is actually kind of a step backwards. Even though, like I said, he's now the double CRT world champion. So congratulations to Alex Espargaro. He's a lovely fella, one of the nicest guys in MotoGP. Very football mad, and just generally speaking a very cool dude, and one of the most underrated bike riders in the world. I mean, Espargaro on that CRT is dynamite. He does so well on it. I really want him to see what he can do on a better bike. Like something like Alvaro Bautista, I think is another one of the most really underrated riders. I'm talking about this more because I'm doing a MotoGP top 10 riders list very, very soon. As soon as I get to level 55 and unlock all the riders I need for footage, hint hint, as soon as that happens, I'll be able to do it. I can take that corner so much better than everybody else can, it's crazy. Oh, braking hard. Oh man, I'm spinning my wheels now, man. I'm almost drifting at the back of these corners. Because my rear tyre's completely gone. Redding in the lead. Kallio second. Nakagami third. Simon fourth. Espargaro fifth. I'm in sixth. I now got no rear tyre grip whatsoever. Again, I get under pressure from the back there. I'm power sliding a lot, which is not ideal on a bike. Is that Rabat back there? Just constantly trying to swing at me. It's crazy. Whoa! I've never been at a track where the rear tyre is this bad in terms of tyre wear. Because I know you got to look after your tyres, especially in Moto 2. I mean, that's what's happened to Takagami Nakagami, where he's probably had 2 wins this season taken away from him almost purely because he's not looked after his tyres properly towards the end of a race. And guys like Paul Espargaro and Tito Rabat have come back at him towards the end of a race and won as a result, and Nakagami's got like nothing left. Just can't corner it properly, and then he suffers as a result. It's horrible. And you know, Nakagami, I don't think he's actually won a race yet, and he's got more than enough ability to win one. He's just been really unlucky. I hope he wins one soon. And I'll be honest, I am becoming a big Marquez fan. I really, really hope Marquez wins it in Motegi this weekend. I say this because Marc Marquez is so good for the sport. We needed a breath of fresh air. We needed another young star to come in and surprise people, and this is exactly what we needed. Marquez is, you know, he rides the fine line between what's fair and what's not, but he does it in a way which is so amazing. Whoa, see, that's what I'm talking about, my back tyre there going out completely. Now I'm oversteering it. But you now see what I'm saying. Like, Marquez is so good for MotoGP. We need a guy like him, a guy who's daring, a guy that's brave. He makes races more exciting. You know, he pushes what's legal in the same way that Valentino Rossi did when he was growing up watching. As like coming 8th there, which is not bad but not wonderful. But overall said, we need a guy like him because, you know, Jorge Lorenzo's boring. He's very defensive. He doesn't like it when things don't go his way. He's a bit of a whiny bitch. Blah blah blah. He's not particularly good for the sport, Lorenzo. He was at his best when Rossi was pushing him. Now he hasn't got that push anymore because Rossi's fallen down the order and Ben Spies wasn't very good. Danny Pedrosa is the nearly man and has been for so many years now. I know a fan of the show tweeted me saying that he felt like Pedrosa had Mark Webber kind of unluckiness. I disagreed, and I only really disagreed with him because it's not unlucky if you're getting beaten by better riders, because in the last 7 or 8 years there's been 3, 4, maybe more riders who are just a little bit better than Danny Pedrosa. Like I said, Casey Stoner, Valentino Rossi, Marc Marquez, Jorge Lorenzo, all better riders than Pedrosa right now, I would say. It's kind of a shame, but you know, that's just how, you know, the sport tends to be sometimes, you know. Sometimes you miss out on certain things, which is just a shame, really. But, oh, hang on. We have offers. Yes! I could go to the Ultra Racing team with Nakagami and Simon. Oh, we are going there. Hell yeah. We got a top-end Moto 2 bike. Now, this should make things interesting. I'm on a Canex, mother... So, next time, with my new team, the iTrans Canex team, next time around, let's get back in this championship hunt. In the meantime, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know any comments or opinions you want my take on when it comes to MotoGP. And I'll catch you guys next time. I've been Harrison. Thank you very much for watching. And sayonara.